this is Shalimar Steinberg, and today we are talking about hatching an architectural section view for materials in detail. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to need to do is create a few extra layers that are not already in the set of layers that come with this title block. So I need to get a layer for hatching, and I need a layer for the batting. And I would also need a layer for, no, actually those two are the only ones I need. Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call it batting. And I'm going to leave it white, and I'm going to change from continuous. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go to load, and scroll down until I get to one that says batting. Here it is. It looks kind of like S's. So I'm going to select that one. Then I'm going to go in here. There we go. And I'm selecting that one to make it the current one. So it says batting right there. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it the default thickness. Then I'm going to create another new one. And I'm going to call it hatch, or hatching, or any combination thereof. And I'm going to go ahead and change the color on that one. I'll go with dark blue. But I can just leave it the same if I want to, and then I don't want batting for that one, I just want continuous. And again, default line thickness, because I don't want it to be a real heavy solid line for hatching. Okay, now I can close out of this. Okay, and in my example, I can see that there are a couple of measurements I do know, and those are going to help me extrapolate the information for the entire thing. Now, one thing it says is that the wall is a 2x4 stud, so I know that this is supposed to be 2x4. Now, in real life, we all know that a 2x4 is, or most of us who've done any kind of construction at all know that a 2x4 is not actually 2 inches by 4 inches anymore. But for the purposes of this assignment, I'm just going to make it 2x4, or for this practice. But in real life, you would need to know the actual measurements of the item. So we're going to say that this section is going to be 2 inches, or it's going to be 4 inches in width, sorry, because we're doing a 4-inch wall here. And then we know that from the bottom of the stud, underneath the stud, if you zoom in, you can see that there is a little block here. I'm going to say that that's a block of also 2x4, so we're going to say that it's 2 inches in height and 4 inches in width. And there is actually a pattern to the end of it that shows supposedly end grain, but we're just going to do an X across it because it's a lot easier to draw than the pattern that's in there. We're also going to say that there's 2 blocks of that same thickness up at the top here. So I know I've got that block, and then enough distance to make 6 feet on top of it, so 5 feet 10 inches. And then another foot of space before the underside of this eave here. And then I'm going to say, if I look at it measuring this and this, I'm going to say it's another foot of space before those 2 blocks there. So that tells me about how long to make the stud, and then everything else's thickness will be based off of that. And I know that this is a 2x10 up here, so I can tell what that height is going to be as well. So I'm going to go back into my drawing. I'm going to hit my object line layer. And I'm going to start out by drawing the pieces that I know the definite measurements of. So I'm going to start out by drawing the first of those blocks. So I want 2 inches down. Oh, actually before I do that, I need to go in and change my units. So I go to Drawing Utilities, Units, and I need to make them architectural, because everything in this is in architectural measurements. And I'm going to leave my precision at 1/8 and say inches. And say okay. And I'll need to change that in my dimension style later as well. Okay. So, down 2 inches. And it's just really small, so make sure you zoom in so you're draw in the little X. And then I'm just going to copy this. Or actually, I'll just mirror it. Over this center line, that way I don't get duplicate lines. There, now I've got my 2 blocks. And I said it goes down another foot below that, and then 5 feet 8 inches, or sorry, 10 inches. So I need 6 feet 10 inches in a straight line here. So I'm going to do 6 and then the foot symbol, and then my 10 inches. Here we go. Now I need another one of those blocks at the bottom. So this time I am just going to copy. And I'm going to pick the bottom corner, or sorry, the top corner, and then just add it onto the bottom there. Which means I do need a line there. Okay. Then we can join up the other edge. And we've drawn our stud and the header and footer, basically. Okay, so the next thing I need to look at is that on the outside of that wall, and on the inside it looks like, there is sheathing, and it says it's a 1/2 inch gypped sheathing. So that would be a gypsum board, I believe. So I'm going to draw, and it goes up to the first of the top blocks, but not up to the second. So I'm going to draw it right there. Starting here, out a 1/2 inch, so 0.5. And when you're zoomed way out, it's going to look super small, but that's okay because it will still show when you have it scaled properly to print. And it does go to the bottom of the block down here, so I'll go out from that. And then do it. Oops, I went a little too far. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that sheathing. We can do the same thing on the inside. Once we get the top board drawn, we'll do it. So now we're going to draw our 2x10 board. And that goes from the top of this block up 10. And there isn't a specific distance over given before the break happens, so you just want to make it look proportionate to the drawing that's in the example picture. So I'm going to draw it out to about here. And for now I'm going to put an end point on it, but there wouldn't actually be because there's going to be that break line there. I'll just remove that later. And over to here. And then I'm going to offset this line down 1/8 of an inch for the sheathing that's on there, and then offset this one out and trim out the corners. So I'm going to do the offset button here, and I want 1/8 of an inch, which is just going to be 1/8, and I can do fractions because I'm in architectural units. I'm going to hit enter, and select this line, and then on this side, and you can see if you zoom in that it did it there. Then I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to do offset again. This time I'm going to say 1/2 inch, and I'm going to do this line, inward, and then I'm going to get on this line and use the grip to pull it up to where it would meet. and trim out that section that's right there. So, trim. There we go. Now that part's matching the example as well. Okay, the next thing that I've got is the interior one. It doesn't say, but if you look at the drawing, it matches up in width with the outside one, so I'm saying that they're the same. Drywall might be, yeah. Yeah, because in the picture it looks the same, for the purposes of this material drawing, we're saying it is the same, because they didn't specify. So yeah, that's why. Okay, next, I'm trying to decide what's the next easiest part to do. Okay, so I'm going to put in a temporary dimension because I need to know how far up is my 6 feet. Or so I'm going to do a construction line, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to start it. I need to finish that off, actually. Okay, so I need to first do a couple more things on the bottom here. I'm going to draw a line over from the bottom of this block. And that's going to be the flooring on top of the cement. And I'll match it up in length to the one on the top later. For now, I'm just putting it in. Actually, I suppose I might as well match it up now. Yeah, that's what we're going to assume it is. And 1/8 on each of the horizontals. Okay. So then I'm going to offset that one up. Uh, 1/8 again. And use the grip again. I just want to make sure that where I'm dimensioning from is where I think I'm dimensioning from, so it's important to know for sure. Okay, now I'm going to go into my construction line, and I'm going to draw a construction line that starts off down here and goes up 6 feet. And then I'm going to draw a little line across from that. And one more that goes up into their foot so that I have that measurement for later. Alright, so I'm going to go back into my object line layer, and I'm going to draw. Now, if we look at the block that is on top of the bricks, we see that it says it's 2 by 12 inch trim. So we're going to have it be 1 foot. So it's going to start here. It's going to come out 2 inches and up 12 12 inches, or 1 foot, however you want to put it in, and then over. And just make sure that you got it going straight over. And then again, we're going to go ahead and put in the little X for the end of the boards. And just make sure that you're snapping to the outside there and not to the inside. Now, underneath that, I can space out my bricks. And for the bricks, it says it doesn't give us a specific dimension of them. However, if you look at them in comparison to other things in the drawing, I would say that they're about 2.5 inches wide and about 2 inches tall, other than the top one, which is a little bit larger. So count how many bricks there are, just to kind of double check that math, and then you're going to do your bricks down. Once you've drawn, basically you can draw one brick and then mirror it, and then after you have a few of those, you can mirror a larger section to make it faster for yourself. Or you can draw one and do the copy command and copy it as many times as you need to down. Then you're going to do the hatching and put in an ANSI hatch, the ANSI 31 hatch. The next thing that I want to show before this video gets too long is how to do the batting. And so what I'm going to do is get rid of my little construction line there that's in the way. And I'm going to switch over to my batting layer. And I'm just going to go into the line command. And the batting goes from the tip there, so I need to turn on my midpoint O-snap. And then start over here. And I'm just going to draw it straight down to about where in the drawing the batting goes here. So it goes part way down through the block. Oops, I drew my... I forgot an extra foot of my drawing. So you're just seeing now there should be another foot up here before these blocks happen. So I will have to move those up and then stretch everything else out to match it. Because right now the batting is the wrong length. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to make the batting look correct. So the batting right now looks like a straight line, so I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go up to Properties. And line type scale is 1. So I want it to be, let's see, try 3 first. So actually we're going to do, so it's a 4-inch wall, so we're going to do 3.5-inch batting. And that's about the right size for the area. You could do even closer to 4-inch, but that's acceptable. Then, similarly to how we did it in the section view, you're just going to have to create an arrowhead for the end of this, for the batting. Now, when you do your batting on the top, you're going to be drawing a little block up, but I'm just going to show you how it's going to look here. So you would draw it like this. It comes out at the default of 1. And again, you're going to separately change the properties on this line. So you'll go to Properties again and change it. So it's a 9 or a 10-inch wall, so you would do like 9.5 inches. Oops, and I wasn't in it, so 9.5. There we go. And it makes the batting about the right thickness for that fill section. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and stop the video here and fix the drawing, and we can keep talking